Elon Musk received an email invitation to appear on The Bryant Palmer Show. At first, he barely glanced at it. Requests like this came often, and most he declined. But Palmer was different. Known for his sharp wit and controversial interviews, Palmer had a reputation for making guests uncomfortable. Musk hesitated, then told his team, "Set it up." On the day of the interview, Musk arrived at the sleek Los Angeles studio. In the green room, he watched clips of Palmer's past interviews, where guests squirmed under the host's pointed questions. Musk knew the game: bait, provoke, wait for a reaction. He adjusted his jacket, ready. The studio was packed, the atmosphere charged. Palmer, grinning as Musk took his seat, wasted no time. "Elon, some call you a genius, others say you're a lunatic. Which is it?" Musk smiled faintly. "History will decide." Palmer leaned in. "You've built rockets, electric cars, and even implanted chips in monkey brains. Some say you're playing God." Musk chuckled. "If I were, I'd make sure my rockets didn't explode." Laughter rippled through the audience, but Palmer pressed on. "You have more money than some countries. People worship you. Ever worry you might be turning into a Bond villain? If I were, I'd have a secret lair by now. But I still live in a $50,000 house in Texas." Palmer smirked. "Speaking of that house, didn't you fire most of the janitorial staff at X? Left people jobless before the holidays?" Musk remained calm. Running a company isn't about keeping everyone happy. It's about keeping it alive. X was losing $4 million a day. "Must be tough being a billionaire," Palmer quipped, earning scattered applause and murmurs. Musk leaned forward slightly. "Do you want a real conversation, Bryant? Or are you just here to perform?" Silence. Even Palmer blinked at the shift in energy. Recovering, Palmer smirked. "People say X is a chaotic mess under your leadership." Musk raised an eyebrow. "It was losing billions before I took over. Now it's profitable. Doesn't sound like chaos to me." Palmer pivoted. "Tesla's self-driving feature, people don't trust it. There have been crashes, lawsuits. Do you ever feel responsible?" When someone crashes a Mustang, no one asks Ford's CEO if he feels responsible. "But Ford isn't promising full self-driving. You are." "Not yet. That's why we're in beta." Palmer sighed theatrically. "Fine. Neuralink. Brain chips. What happens when hackers get in? When the government uses them to control people?" Musk smirked. "You watch too many movies, Bryant." Palmer wasn't done. "Let's talk about power. You control social media, transportation, space travel, AI, and now potentially the human brain. Should we be worried?" Musk tilted his head. "You think I'm trying to control people? When one man has this much influence, people have questions." Musk let the moment hang. "People should ask questions. Skepticism is healthy. But the idea that I'm sitting in some lair rubbing my hands together? That's ridiculous." Palmer chuckled. "You did name an AI project Ex Machina. Sounds ominous." "It's actually X1, but close." Palmer waved it off. "Let's talk about something you can't dodge. Tesla's lawsuit for racial discrimination. Employees claim unsafe work environments, slurs. How does a man who wants to take humanity to Mars let this happen on Earth?" The audience tensed. Musk's expression remained steady. "That issue affects every major company. When we found problems, we took action. So, you're saying it's just business as usual?" "I'm saying it's not unique to Tesla, and it's not something we ignore. But if you want to talk lawsuits, let's talk about your network." Palmer blinked. "Excuse me?" Musk leaned in. "Your network has been sued for spreading false information. Your show runs ads from billion-dollar corporations. You sit here calling out corporate greed, but your paycheck comes from the same system." The audience stirred. Palmer hesitated. "Nice deflection. You're not the one making billion-dollar deals behind closed doors, not the one profiting off division."
Silence. Musk continued. "You think I have power? Maybe. But at least people know where my decisions come from. Can you say the same?" Palmer opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Musk leaned back. "Do you want the truth? Or just the version that keeps the outrage machine running?" The audience clapped. Palmer, for the first time, seemed unsettled. He forced a chuckle. All right, Elon, let's end on a positive note. What's next for you? Musk considered. Advancing AI, space travel, sustainable energy. But the biggest challenge isn't technology, it's trust. Palmer raised an eyebrow. Trust? People don't trust institutions anymore. Governments, media, corporations, often for good reason. Palmer scoffed. So I'm the problem now? Musk smiled faintly. I think your industry profits from keeping people divided, outraged, and distracted. You ask if I feel responsible for what I create, do you? Palmer had no answer. Silence stretched, then applause. Palmer forced a grin, but the damage was done. All right, folks, he said. Give it up for Elon Musk. Musk shook Palmer's hand and walked off stage. The moment the cameras stopped rolling, the tension thickened. Palmer ripped off his earpiece, turning to his producer. What the hell was that? The producer, glued to his phone, barely looked up. We're everywhere. Less than 5 minutes after the show ended, social media exploded. Clips flooded X. Headlines wrote themselves. Elon Musk turns the tables on Brian Palmer. Comments poured in. Musk just dismantled Palmer like an engineer taking apart a bad prototype. This wasn't an interview, it was an execution. In his dressing room, Palmer poured himself a drink. The internet's going to eat this up. Musk fanboys will act like he walked on water. His producer hesitated. Did he, though? Palmer's jaw tightened. You want me to apologize? Number, but we need to spin it. Say Musk was deflecting, that he couldn't handle real scrutiny. Palmer narrowed his eyes, considering. Before he could respond, an assistant knocked. Bryant, the network wants a meeting. Now. Meanwhile, Musk sat in a waiting Tesla. His phone buzzed. Engagement through the roof. He scrolled through the reactions, watching the narrative shift in real time. By morning, the interview was more than a viral clip. It was a moment. Analysts debated, was Musk brilliant, or did he dodge accountability? Either way, one thing was clear. People weren't talking about Palmer's questions. They were talking about Musk's answers. At the network, the meeting was tense. The numbers are huge, one executive admitted. Highest engagement all year. Palmer forced a grin. You're welcome. The problem, another executive said, is it's not going our way. People aren't just talking about Musk. They're talking about us. About whether we hold powerful people accountable or just put on a show. Palmer scoffed. They'll forget. They always do. A pause. Then, maybe. Or maybe this time, they won't. Across the country, Musk sipped his coffee, scrolling X. Among the flood of posts, one stood out. The scariest thing about last night wasn't what Musk said. It was realizing how badly the